Okay. Welcome everyone. Tonight we are going over compliance. Recently our uplines have gotten an email stating that we need to have a disclaimer on all of our pictures. This is why it's so important that we follow the rules so that we don't get shut down. So I'm going to go over a few things first, and then we're going to go over, then Ann and Amy are going to go over some other topics that they have about staying compliant. The three of us we pretty much breathe and live compliance. Reasons being is because this is our source of income. So if we were to get shut down, where would that leave us? A lot of us, a lot of us rely on this as our only source of income. So we need to make sure that we're following the rules. Not only that, it's for the ones that don't follow the rules, you're creating a bad name for us. You know, there's a lot of people that sell their wraps underpriced. There's a lot of people that you know, sell them on the wrong pages, or you know, they sell their stuff on eBay or Amazon. All of that stuff is not compliant. So what does that tell us? A lot of people use photoshopped pictures that, you know, don't even look like they could be the same person, or whatever the case is, or they change the storyline on, you know, exactly what they use to progress and have amazing results. So we're going to go over a few things to make sure that whatever we do in this business is compliant, so that way we can keep our businesses and we can keep making money the correct way. And it's also, you know, it's really important, like I said, for all of us. So I'm going to go over what we talked about at the beginning from the email. So now we have to have a disclaimer. So I'm going to read the disclaimer that we have to have. And this is why they asked us in the beginning to use our corporate approved pictures. So where's my disclaimer? Sorry guys, 1 second, I had it. Okay, so the disclaimer says individual results can and will vary. These testimonials are not necessarily representative of all those who use our products. All participants giving testimonials utilize a regimen that incorporates the Ultimate Body Applicator. It works dietary supplements, physical activity, and a reasonable diet. These testimonials are not intended to make claims that these products can be used to diagnose, treat, cure, mitigate, or prevent any disease. These claims have not been clinically proven or evaluated by the FDA. And we'll kind of go over some of the FDA stuff because we are not FDA approved, but we are FDA regulated, and there's two different things. So, all right. Who wants to go first, Amy or Ann?
Ann.
Ann.
Okay, I don't. Amy, which one did you want me to start with?
Go for it.
I think a good one to start with is the before and after pictures. Not just the disclaimer, but the fact that we need to know where every single picture comes from. If you're getting it off a group page, it does not necessarily mean that that is appropriate for that page. It just means that somebody found a great picture, unless they tell you this is my picture or this is my customer. Do not use the picture, period. Unless you can trace it back to that person and you can say, hey, you know what, I just got this picture off of this website. Is this you? Then you either use it and know that you can trace it back, or don't use it at all.
Yeah, as for tracing it down, I mean, Ingrid and I make jokes all the time that I stalk these people, but I don't use it before and after unless I've personally been to that person's Facebook page or talked to that distributor myself just to see the original post where it came from. I know I've come across on Instagram, my own story, and apparently, guys, I've done P90X, I've used the Ultimate Pack, and that's just, it's heartbreaking to see people using honest results to either get a bigger BB order, which was the case with the girl who had misrepresented mine, and some people they just simply don't know. And honestly, if you don't know the story, don't post it, because you don't know if that was our company. I mean, I've seen a lot of times, especially in the newbie to leader group lately, people saying, oh, this photo wasn't our products, this person's really upset. It's because people aren't checking to make sure that the results in the story are true, and we're hurting our brands when we do those things. And I know in my Canadian group, I have photos posted. I have, at some point in time, tracked down, I'd say about 90–95% of those photos to see where they came from to make sure that they were factual. But here's the thing. You guys are responsible for your own postings. So if I posted something and it wasn't compliant, and you're the one that got in trouble for having it posted because someone reported you and not me, you're the one that's going to get in trouble. It's in our policies and procedures that we are responsible for our own posts. That being said, when it comes to finding before and afters, don't use Google. Don't use Pinterest. I know I have my own It Works board on Pinterest, and I know for a fact they're not compliant, which is why I have them, because I want to use them as examples to my team to be like, don't use this kind of photo, don't do this. We don't know if there's been filters added. I mean, not too long ago, Facebook started adding automatic filters. We can't even do that. We can't use black and whites, no filters, nothing. The only type of editing we can do to a photo is to have the time span and the products used on the photo. We can put our websites on the photo, and of course the disclaimer, which by the way is not a new thing. So people complaining about that, I'm just like, have you guys not sat down and read our policies and procedures document? I know I personally read it 3 times a week. I have a brain injury, so I forget very easily. So I try to keep myself up to date on that and keep it fresh in my head. Another thing about ads, just before I forget, third-party ads. Using Disney or famous people, even memes, to sell It Works products is absolutely against compliance. It says, I forget the section number right now, but those companies and those people license them out. We're not paying those licenses. Therefore, by using for example, a Frozen one saying like "Let it grow" for your hair, and with a picture of Elsa, that's absolutely against compliance. And if Disney were to somehow come across it, they could sue our company. And I don't know how many of you know this, but I'm actually a marketing student at Memorial University. And one of my favorite things to listen to is Under the Influence. And one podcast alone talks about lawsuits and advertising. And I'm totally blanking on her name, but an actress had actually gone to a grocery store, and she was photographed, and the grocery chain retweeted it saying that, oh, look who shops with us. She sued them. So, like, it could be very factual that, you know, a celebrity, for example, does use our product, but unless we have a written contract with them through It Works Global, we cannot. Thomas Hughes, obviously, he's a distributor, and he's allowed us to use his photos. But if you see pictures of, oh my gosh, Amy, who are some of the ones that we've seen lately? Because we haven't seen.
Well, Deborah Messing is one with the face masks. I've seen
Little Liars too.
Yeah. I've seen a male actor.
There was a football player that used the wrap.
Yeah, actually yesterday I saw one on Carrie Underwood, and the mask that she had wasn't even ours.
Yeah.
So that right there is a huge no-no.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the case with the Deborah Messing one as well. She was in a salon, had a picture taken, and somebody was representing her using the salon wrap as our wrap, and that wasn't the case with her at all.
If a celebrity is using our product, it will absolutely be on our It Works Global Facebook page. You can 1000% bet that. Because who wouldn't want to use a celebrity to market their product? But we're not paying for endorsements, and regardless if they are or not, we can't advertise at all. Like, the only celebrity I use is Thomas Hughes. Because he's a distributor, he's agreed to let it, and yeah, I forgot where I was going with that one.
Well, and I know another thing with a big compliance issue are open countries. This is one that just came up, and I know Vanessa had just seen this as well. If we are closed in that country, guys, those countries are off limits, period. There is no shipping to another family member in a legit country and then having them ship it. It is out of our territory. It is out of our sales area. It is out of shipping area. And it isn't that the company that It Works itself has something against these countries and we just, don't want to sell there. It is a law in those countries. You have to remember, we have to jump through hoops to sell supplements here in the United States, Canada, and everything else. If, for one reason or another, these packages that, somebody may or may not ship to a family member are gone through at customs, guys, we can get shut down. Like, that's a big deal. It's breaking the law. If we are not open in those countries, we do not ship to those countries. Those countries are off limits. I am sorry, but you can turn around and tell your potential customer, distributor, future millionaire, whatever the case may be, we're off limits. I will keep you posted as soon as we open up.
Yeah, my favorite thing to do is, hey, I'll tell my potentials, hey, you know what, we're working on opening there, or we're working on adding that product to your country. In the meantime, let me get your contact info, and the second I hear anything, I'll shoot you a message, keep you updated, put you on the wait list for that product. For example, Australia and hair, skin, and nails, I have about 5 girls on my wait list, and they were so excited when Europe got them because that's generally meaning Australia is one step closer. But yeah, I just tell them all. I just tell them that I'm going to put them on the wait list and keep them posted because it's not worth it to lose my business. And I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to piss these 2 girls off by shutting them down either.
Yeah, don't make me come up there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and it is not hard to follow policy and procedures. It is your job as a distributor to know the policies that are in place, the laws of the areas that you're selling to. Anne is a perfect example to ask about the cold messaging on Instagram and that kind of stuff. Here in the States, our laws are a little different than Canada, but I know, and she's gone over this quite a few times, that Canada, you cannot cold message. Just because somebody likes a picture on Instagram does not mean that you are free to cold message them.
Yeah.
And there's no, unless they turn around and say, hey, send me some info, I am sorry, but guys, those people are off limits. Start a conversation with them. Tell them how cute their kids are. Tell them how much you love their nails, their shoes, their outfit that they're wearing. Start a conversation because that's what breaks that cold area and brings them into a warmer market and allows you the ability to introduce It Works to them.
Yeah, and I think that's been one of my struggles with, not to cause any issues, but one of my struggles with some of my uplines is they may be aware of the law, but I don't know if they've gone into great detail, whereas I've actually sat down with a lawyer. Thankfully, I have a family friend who's a lawyer, so it didn't cost anything. But It actually specifically says in CASL, which is the Canadian anti-spam legislation, that a like does not constitute a relationship. So even if your post says like for more info, if you go and send each one of those likes a message, you're technically breaking the law. And you know what? Yes, it is still a fairly new law, and there are some gray areas for sure, but the way I look at it is it worth my business? No. We haven't been open in Canada for nearly as long as the U.S., and there are some amazing, amazing Canadian distributors that I was lucky enough to meet over the summer, and they've managed to work it without cold messaging. I've had customers who, on their profile, says no more reps, and they have turned around and started contacting me to sign up as distributors, to sign up as loyals, because I spend more time, personally, I spend more time building relationships than I do posting ads. Because, I mean, and I know John Eric says this all the time, but how many ads do we see in a day? Or, I mean, when Michelle signed me up, she didn't sign me up because I kept seeing ads. She signed me up because I saw who she was. I knew I was supporting her and her beautiful 3 babies, and I wanted to get myself healthy, and she had that to offer me. She offered me the support when I signed as a loyal, and that's what I want to give to my people. And by cold messaging, like, I mean, I'm not going to go knocking on doors to sell my product, and to me it's the exact same thing. Am I going to go up and down the streets in St. John's, knocking on doors going, what do you guys at? Do you want to buy a rat? It's not how it works, and Newfoundland is one of the friendliest places in the world. It doesn't work like that here. So it's not going to work like that on the internet either. Another thing I know Amy and I had talked about was working multiple companies. This is kind of more of another radar issue. I see it happening all the time. I know girls on my team that do it, and what I tell them is you have to have 2 separate accounts. It's written in policies and procedures. 1, you cannot work for a company that sells a single competing product. So if they sell a skincare line, don't touch it. If they sell a version of hair, skin, nails, don't touch it. Go ahead and do Sensei. Last time I checked, we got nothing to compete. Go ahead and do Stella and Dot. But if you're working 2 companies that compete, I know we mostly look at Isogenics, Beachbody, and
Unique is another one.
Yeah, Unique, because they do have skincare.
Roden and Fields. There's a lot of them out there. You just have to do your research first before you get into something else to make some extra money on top of it works.
Yeah. But here's another thought too. When it comes to multiple companies, if you're going to work multiple companies, I mean, honestly, how well do you feel when you're working a full-time job and a part-time job? How much are you able to give into your full-time job and your part-time job without feeling like crap? Do you really think that you're able to give 100% of your time and your effort to 2 different companies? Because I can tell you, you won't be able to do it. No matter what you think that you're capable of doing, we all have our breaking points. And I'll tell you, you're only going to make one company, the other company, or both companies suffer in the long run. You are not benefiting anyway by putting more money out and putting more money out and putting more money out. I understand that there are some people that just need to find their niche, and I totally get that. But if that's the case, then they need to drop the first company. And I'm not going to say, you know what, it works is for everybody. It's not. So if you're not happy with the business, go elsewhere. But don't pretend like you're going to be working your business with it works and going somewhere else and thinking that you're going to be able to do both. It's just not going to benefit you. It doesn't benefit your team. It only puts you in harm's way. Just don't do it.
And another thing, in terms of multiple companies, say you are someone sensitive or someone that and you are working at work, so you have to let yourself account. You can't, it's in your policies and procedures that you cannot advertise based on the same account. You're free to do so, just not on the same account. And that's something I don't think enough people are paying attention to. I know I've seen guys do it, and I haven't really said anything. But my bad, I'm sorry if you're one of these girls. But if you're working more than one company right now, right this second, and you're watching it, my advice to you is to immediately, once you're done, go to your history, go to your documents, open up policies and procedures, go down to the section that talks about working off of the company and make sure you're 1000% following through. If you're still not cooperating, I'm still Vanessa, Amy, and myself, and we will help you through to figure out, are you being compliant? Are you running the risk of someone coming up that your face of the clearance? And I think that's another issue too, what you do with people something like that. So based on our policies and procedures document, we are responsible for reporting people. We do have that responsibility to help out our compliance team. And people are like, oh, you're just wasting your time when you could be working your business. And my personal stance on this, and I'm pretty sure the other two ladies here feel the same way, is, hold on. 1 second, Zoe, okay? Is, you take a second, you screenshot exactly what's wrong, you message that person, you let them know as nicely as you can. Hey, this is against compliance. If you have any questions, go to eSuite, check your policies and procedures documents, and carry on. Some people will come back and respond very nasty. If they do that, report them. Usually I do take the time to go back and check to see if it has been removed. And if it hasn't and they have seen my message, I will report, because I don't want it out there that, for example, our greens help people become pregnant or help increase milk supply. I don't want people to think it's okay to use defining gel on babies for their eczema. I don't want people thinking it's okay for our kids to be drinking greens. Sure, my daughter's doctor has approved that for her, but I'm not about to post it because not everyone checks with their doctor, and it is against compliance to post because our products are intended for 18 up. So if you're posting pictures of your kids using our products, you need to stop right now, because someone who's not as nice as our team may come across that and not even bother to tell you it's against compliance and just report you. And again, we're responsible for our own posts, but also that, I know Amy, she has a beautiful little girl who was a preemie, and if she, maybe she can touch on this more about the greens.
Let me tell you, that's one of those things that really does a number on my nerves. When I see anybody posting, they give their greens to their kids, or even, when people post the posts about lactation and the greens increase milk supply, let me tell you, my doctor, the neonatologist that took care of my daughter while she was in the NICU, said flat out no. And let me tell you why. The greens are an adult dosing. The adult dosing itself could have actually hurt my daughter. Not that the greens are a bad thing, but you have to remember they are a probiotic. It can and will increase the bacteria in the GI tract. Granted, it's all good bacteria. However, too much bacteria is still too much. It's kind of like overdosing on vitamins. Yes, it can happen. You take an entire bottle of its Vital Core Nutrition or the minerals or omega-3s, I'm pretty sure you're going to have an issue. Do not ever, ever, ever post anything in regards to kids. Keep it out of there. If a mother wants to ask you about giving something to their kid, all you do is you send them the ingredient list and tell them to check with their doctor. Same with people with medical conditions. Don't come on the pages and say, hey, you know what, I have somebody with high blood pressure. The only response that you will and should get is, here's the ingredient list, send them to their doctor. We are not medical. And let me tell you, I technically am. I have 15 years of emergency medicine experience. I worked in an emergency department for 8 years. I did plenty of field time on an ambulance as a provider. And I'll tell you, I will still claim to not be medical when it comes to this stuff. Why? Because it is my business. I am not about to ever risk getting this shut down. It retired me, and it will retire my husband for Christmas. And let me tell you, any risk to that and to my kids' happiness and health, sorry, out the window. I won't risk it. And if I see anybody else risking it and you know better, let me tell you, you're going to have a conversation with me. Doesn't make me happy. Just saying.
I think that's why you and I are so over, not like over as in like tired of it. Amy and I tend to try to watch the groups, like Hacks, more or less just for compliance issues. We love our businesses. I love my team, all of them. I couldn't imagine any single one of my teammates losing their business over something as silly as not knowing the policies and procedures. And as for the medical stuff, I saw a post recently about greens improving anemia. You know what? Great. I am so happy for you. As someone who suffers from severe anemia, I couldn't have been more happy for this girl. But belong in a newbie to leader group. You need to be very aware of your audience when you are posting stories. If you want to post a story and see if it's compliant for a testimonial, do it. But the second someone says it's not, you need to remove that, because people can absolutely, and it has been done, people can absolutely see that, not read in the comments, take your story and run with it. And for someone who suffers with a brain injury, I mean, I've personally talked to Dr. Don in Calgary, and he was so blown away by how much our products have helped me. The Confianza has helped improve my brain so much with my traumatic brain injury. But am I about to make a post saying that? Absolutely not. It's against compliance, because it is a very, very new medical diagnosis, one that people still don't know many about. But at the bottom line is, it's medical. Diabetes, medical. So if it's not in Product Coach, if it doesn't specifically say it in Product Coach, don't touch it. If it's not in your documents in eSuite under Product Info, don't touch it. Just don't. It's that simple. If you don't see that specific word written there, don't touch it. Just like our wraps, they don't detox. Saying they do is absolutely against compliance. Are ingredients in there related to detoxing? Sure. Dr. Donald said that. But are we allowed to say that? Absolutely not, because anything medical requires FDA approval. And although I'm not 100% familiar with FDA, I am very familiar with Health Canada, and we have even stricter regulations, which is why our products such as Fat Fighters, ThermoFit, Hair, Skin, and Nails vary from those in the U.S., for example. I mean, how many times have Amy and I, or Vanessa and I, discussed, like, oh my God, we only have like 500 or something milligrams of biotin in our hair, skin, and nails. I'm just like, guys, I wish you could send me some. Like, it sucks, but it's there for a reason, because our governments have decided what is safe for us in terms of supplements. And Canada does, I mean, Canada is just stricter. We seem nicer, but maybe it's just because we're so strict. But yeah, You need to be very, very aware. Product coach is your best friend. That is something that Michelle told me, and I have run with it. If it is not in product coach, I'm not going to say it. If I have an ad and I know it's real and I forget the story behind it, I'm not about to make something up. If I do use it, knowing that I do have the story on my old phone or something, I just post a general, like, look at these awesome results. That way I'm not risking compliance, which is also why any results I get from my customers, myself, I put the time span, the product use on it, so that even if someone sees it on Instagram, which, by the way, guys, don't do, and screenshots it to use it, they at least have the right time span and product use. Because after my story got twisted, I was just like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell's no.
Well, and another thing when it comes to product coach, guys, just because somebody else posts it doesn't mean that it's compliant. So, great example, defining gel and scars. Defining gel is not meant for scars.
Or sunburns.
Smart cream. Or sunburns, bug bites. We actually have products for those. The stretch mark cream for scars, the hydrating toner for your bug bites, your sunburn. If you are not familiar with this, check Product Coach. It's in there. Google or search in Product Coach for bug bites. Search for sunburn. You will see that hydrating toner actually does pull up for those items.
Oh, and what's on bug bites, by the way?
What?
Bug bites, by the way.
Bug bites, yeah, it's in there. Bug bites.
No, I know it works amazing on it.
Oh. Hummer. Sorry, my little dog.
And your husband.
And my husband. You do realize that you're live on the internet, right? Okay. So, I mean, that's Product Coach is your best friend, and your upline, if they know, if you are comfortable going to them, go to them. If not, come to one of us. We are all leaders. We are all on the same page. And the appropriate leaders, if they are unsure of an answer, they need to be asking the questions to those that they're comfortable with. So if I can't find an answer, I will go to my upline. I will go to Kara. I will go to Missy. I will go to the people that I know and trust that I've known for a very long time. And, you know, that's okay. This is a learning curve constantly. I have been with It Works for over 2 years, and I am still learning on a daily basis. I am still growing. My business continues to grow, and I continue to get strange questions, weird problems proposed to me, and asking for...
Ask if she could wrap her hookah, guys. Like, it does not get weirder than that.
Yep.
That has been asked on the page, and I was like, what? But yeah.
I have a downline that has done it.
I have a downline that still does it.
Hey, whatever double right there.
It's a double diamond.
After you have kids, it's a whole different story.
It totally is. Okay, before I forget, because we all know I suck at this, terms such as triple threat, dynamic duo, those, if anyone uses them, guys, I have in my inbox a ticket, several actually, because I've submitted them for each and every term. Zoe, knock it off. They're not compliant. Absolutely not. Now, holiday time, when they roll out packs, Vanessa and I went over it last night. Absolutely. Here's the thing. I've seen Dynamic Duo be used for ThermoFit fat fighters, and then it works too in Calgary. Dr. Don, his Dynamic Duo is greens in its vital core. So the reason compliance doesn't want us to use these things, and yes, people like Dr. Don, Pam, they all use them, but they're not advertising them as that. They're telling us to help us remember better, and that's really the only way it should be used. Oh, guys, my child is distracting me. But
it's not hard, Anne.
It's really not hard to distract me, I know. I know. Which is why I'm surprised Vanessa wanted me on here. But those terms, just don't use them at all. The only way I have used triple threat since finding out it's against compliance is I will say Greens, Thermofit, Fat Fighters work together almost as if they were a triple threat. I don't use it to column that. I'll use it in a descriptive way. If you have any questions about how to word something like that, let me know. But I would advise you guys, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility, and it's absolutely up to you and how you want to work your business. But any ads that say triple threat, even if it says triple threat and then states the 3 products, or dynamic duo and states the 2 products, delete it. You can make a new ad. If you don't know how to make ads, by all means, I'll sit there. I will do a hangout with you, and I will teach you how to make ads. Just to help you guys. The 3 of us really want you guys to be able to not only run your business with compliance, but to really take off your business. So we're not just going to sit here and tell you, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. We will sit here for as long as you need us to, and we will work with you individually on whatever compliance issues you have. If it's medical stuff, Amy is amazing.
My first day.
Vanessa's kind of like an overall amazing. Ads is generally kind of like my thing, and cold messaging. If anyone needs the cold messaging for Canada explained better, let me know. And also, I know you guys can technically in the States cold message, but please, before you do, make sure they're not from Canada, because in our castle law, it actually states that you just have to message someone from Canada. And now, it's not just a fine, which is why I take it so seriously. You're actually looking at jail time if you repeatedly break it. Or if you message the wrong person and they got connections. Canada doesn't have that many people, guys. Taylor Swift has more followers on Instagram than Canada has. And she has us beat by like 10 million, if not more by now. You need to be aware of your audience. Be respectful. If you're talking to someone and they want hair, skin, nails, make damn sure they're not in Australia. I made that mistake. You're just that one's not so much a compliance issue. It's just you're setting them up for disappointment, and that's kind of like my tip. I personally run my business as if I'm in the States, apart from the cold message, because the majority of my followers are from the States. I usually try to make a point to state US dollars when I'm messaging them about info. I always check to see where they're from so that I can better help them, because I don't know if you guys know this, Canada has like 10 million more packs available than you guys do. Vanessa and I compared this the other day. You guys have like this much. We have an entire page dedicated to packs for distributors and packs for loyals. So if you have a customer in Canada, there may be a pack available. I have every single country's product BD list in my group. I'm working on more files. I've been away on vacation, so I kind of I'm working on files for my group for compliance. Amy, Vanessa, and I. Hi, Vanessa. Amy and I generally try to. Kitty's around. Can you just hold on 1 second? 1 second. We generally try to do Motivational Monday because, let's be honest, Monday's stuck regardless of what kind of job you have. Tip Tuesday on how to work your business to the best of your ability, what kind of, stay positive and all other stuff. And actually, we're going to be starting a new one for personal branding, how to rock this personal branding. Thursdays are our compliance days. So if there's anything you're unsure about or have a question about compliance, let us know. We're always looking for suggestions for Thursdays. We always have so many. So if there's something being brought to our attention, that's generally what we're going to talk about. I'm going to go for a second. So, leave this.
Okay, the reason why I wanted to do this call tonight is because this topic is pretty much really never ever talked about unless it's brought to our attention by corporate. But not only that, we get our weekly wrap-up emails, and on there every single week there's something from compliance. So make sure you're reading your emails, your weekly wrap-ups. Get your info that you need. Make sure to, actually read the policies and procedures, the terms and conditions. Follow the wording on Product Coach and your website. I don't even use any other wording besides what's on Product Coach or the website. Anytime I talk to somebody, I showed you guys last week. I have notes in my phone with bullet points from the website for every single product, and I just copy and paste and send that to them because I'm not about to tell them something that's completely wrong about a certain product. So like I said, this is the main reason why we wanted to go over a lot of the compliance stuff. Not only does it help you in your business to run it with honesty and integrity, but it helps us to still have a business, because if we were to get shut down, there's 100,000 distributors that those lives will be changed if we get shut down. A lot of us rely on this income. So make sure that you are following compliance. Use whatever tools that we have for you. The team pages, make sure that even on the team pages that you're being compliant, because yes, that may be a private page, but the newbies don't know what you're seeing, like Ann was talking about earlier. The newbies will take your post and run with it, not knowing that it's not compliant. So just try to do your best to stay compliant. Read your policies and procedures, your terms and conditions. It doesn't just affect you, it affects the entire company. Does anyone have some last words of advice?
Just to touch on the whole disclaimer issue, I know leaders have posted saying it's okay to post in the wording, the disclaimer, but personally, from a marketing student perspective, and my dad's president and CEO of many international companies, so I grew up around marketing, which is why I go to school for it. Add that disclaimer to your photo. Honestly, it takes 15, maybe 2 seconds. There's a lot of great apps that make it easy. If you need an app suggestion, let me know. But this way, if compliance does come across your Instagram page, they're going to know right away you are 1,000% taking this disclaimer seriously. The only way I would personally suggest, and Amy and I talked about this with using it in the wording below, is for your old posts. Are we saying go back 2 years and add the wording? No. That's just crazy. Personally, I would go back maybe a month or two just to show, depending on how often you post. If you're doing 12 at work posts a day, probably not. Probably not. But go take the time and do go back at least a week and add that into your wording. It's easy to add it on Instagram. It's easy to add it on Facebook. That'll also show compliance that, okay, you found out, and not only did you use it in your photos going forward, like actually in your photos, but you took the time to go back. That'll make a huge difference in compliance if they do come across your page and they do see that you are acknowledging the changes that they're requesting be made. And putting it in your photo, again, it better protects your butt. Like, Zoe, knock it off. Apparently that's a funny word. But it better shows the seriousness. There's a reason It Works logo on their Facebook page has the disclaimer on. It's more professional. It does need to be on every single before and after photo, whether it's hair, skin, and nails, thermofit, wraps. It doesn't matter if it's one wrap for 45 minutes. You need to have that. You need to have that disclaimer. There's a reason I have that post pinned to the start of my page. I have the photos underneath. I have the wording underneath. And I even have an example, app suggestions. There's apps that you can get that you can actually manipulate the frame. So if it's not fitting in your normal frame properly, get one of these apps like Split Pick or Moldave. I don't know how to say it, guys, but you can easily adjust the frame to bring it down to just have the disclaimer tiny at the bottom, and the picture still completely all there. That would be my advice. Okay. Anything?
The only advice that I have to close out this call is just keep in mind, this isn't a hobby. This is our lives. This business is a business. Just because your storefront is on Facebook and Instagram doesn't mean that you don't own a real live business. Welcome to being a business owner. Welcome to following the law, following
international law.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If you had opened a McDonald's, KFC, let me tell you, their corporate offices regulate what they do and how they do it. The same with the FDA, the EPA, depending on what kind of business you're opening. Keep that in mind going forward. It isn't just It Works that's saying yes or no, and they're not trying to be bullies. They're trying to help you keep your business, change your lives, and that's what this company is all about.
Just one quick thing there. Amy and I have personally gotten messages from people in groups. They're not nice, and they're pretty much telling us we are beaches, but a different word, for just informing people on compliance. If you ever come across anyone who is telling you, don't do that, we're not here to be, pardon my language, but we're not here to be assholes. This is our company. This is our livelihood. We are absolutely taking it seriously. We are one. My child, ladies and gentlemen. I can't stand her. Like, I can't handle her, not stand her. But we are commenting on these not as a one team, one mission. If we notice something that's against compliance, we're going to tell you. We're not trying to say it in a rude way. We are just trying to let you know, for your sake, for our sake, that what you're doing is either breaking compliance or potentially breaking the law. And you could potentially affect over 100,000 lives. I mean, how many people have retired on this business? Joel and Stephanie, for example, look what they have to lose if we break compliance. Okay, dude. We're not here to be dicks. We're just honestly trying to help you out. I know it may come off wrong because it can be taken negatively, but honestly, if we're commenting saying it's against compliance, we generally, 9 out of 10 times, if we get an argument, say, you know what, just submit a ticket. Go ahead and submit a ticket. Ask yourself. Ask for yourself. Get your own answer. We don't want disrespect. We're going out of our way to help you guys, and we don't appreciate the disrespect. So if anyone comments on yours, whether it's us or someone you don't even know, take it as them trying to help you, trying to be nice, and if you disagree with their stance, submit a ticket. That's all you got to do.
And honestly, if you ever hear me talk or see my writing, two very different personalities. I am very blunt, to the point. I am not going to sit here and dilly-dally. I'm going to tell you, you're wrong. Take it down. This is non-compliant. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, you know, I know you've only been in the company for 7.5 years. I know you're going to die in the company in 27 bazillion years. But one way or another, you're still wrong. I'm not tiptoeing. I'm not here to coddle you, hold your hand, or anything like that. Let me tell you, I will bring it to your attention, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not here to, you know, coddle you, rock you to sleep at night, give you a pacifier and a hot bottle. It's not going to happen. Sorry, guys. But we're all grown-ups, and we all need to act like grown-ups. It's not 15, 16, 18-year-olds getting on, you know, this company and trying to play house. That's not what we're here for.
And
so keep that in mind.
And we're not perfect either. We correct each other all the time. Trust me, if I post something against compliance, you bet I will get a text from Amy or Vanessa within 2 seconds of posting it to be like, hey, girl.
Like, what up? You know that's not right.
Yeah, and you know what? As someone with a brain injury who has, like, the worst memory in the world, I am very, very thankful to everyone who has approached me and been like, hey, you know what? Maybe that's not the best thing to do. I've had Missy tell me that. Like, we're not perfect by any means. We have gone out of our way to learn the policies and procedures to the best of our abilities. And, I mean, I may not be, like, a top enroller by any means, but every single one of our teammates brings something different to the table. Us three, Amy and I more, not necessarily more so, but hold on for a second, Vanessa. Amy and I absolutely, like, this is our oxygen. Vanessa is amazing with it too, but you know what else she brings to the table that I suck at? Compensation, charting, that kind of thing. We all bring something different to the table, and if we all take 5 minutes to stop and listen to each other, and see whose strengths are enrolling loyals, enrolling distributors, getting working distributors, promoting, compensation. Like, there's so many different aspects to our business, and we're responsible for running it all by ourselves. So if we just take a second, reach out to those who have strengths in areas that are our weaknesses, guys, just imagine how much more we can just take our companies to a whole nother level. Like, not to sound cheesy, but we need to. Like, there's a reason we hired John Eric for our adventure team. He's amazing at social media, but he's also amazing at inspiring people. Like, if you ever hear his story and you don't cry and have an epiphany, like, I don't know. We all have our own strengths, and we really need to keep that in perspective. And if, you know, Michelle, because she's my upline, if she were to come to me and be like, hey, Ann, you know what, this works really great for enrolling loyals, I would be like, okay, let me give it a try. And just as much as I know, if I went to Michelle and was like, hey, you know, this is a great way to ensure you're staying compliant, I'm sure she would say the same thing, because we all have different strengths and weaknesses, and we need to absolutely use each other and take advantage of each other's strengths to make us better as a whole. So, yeah. I just got real deep. I'm going to blame that on the wine.
I haven't broken mine open yet. I'm way behind everybody else.
Yeah, my glass is empty. I think I'm ahead. Anyways,
add us on Facebook if you don't already have us. We'll help you.
correct. Yeah, add us. Make sure that if you do want to check out some of our pages, some of them are open to the public, and then some of them are open to just our team. So just, let us know what we can help you with, and we will do that. Sunday is usually our weekly wrap-up day, so make sure that you're reading these emails. Not only does it have compliance information in there, but it has information on what's going on the week and the month. There's, information on, what we're doing for, like, the Ruby bonus or, like, the good bonuses, whatever messages Mark has for us. It has the weekly calls. You should be plugged into. It has, events that are probably in your area. You probably missed a ton of them already. So stay plugged in and read your emails and stay compliant. A lot of the times, too, there will be something that you've never even, seen on anything for compliance. So just keep that in mind, and have a good night, everyone. I think it's already too much wine.
Night.
Good night.
Night.